couple of weeks ago, our foundation launched a survey at CHOP while we hosted a teach-in. The survey was for CHOP protesters. And what we found is that, based on the responses, is that CHOP protesters were looking to volunteer their time and resources to ending systemic racism, starting with an end to police brutality. What we also found is that CHOP protesters were seeking to follow Black voices. So I'm here today to introduce the Black Collective Voice. Today we are reclaiming our narrative. The Black Collective Voice consists of organizers and protesters. We are educators, lawyers, creatives, single parents, business owners, healers, medical professionals, and Capitol Hill residents. We are the people of Seattle. And today we want to be clear. The East Precinct was never the goal of the Black Collective or our allies on the ground at the Capitol Hill organized protest, better known as CHOP. That is a false narrative. We did not choose the East Precinct or Cal Anderson Park as the epicenter of our work. In fact, the Seattle Police Department chose that location when they terrorized protesters on Pine Street and when they tear gassed residents in their homes. Stewarding and protecting the East Precinct only became possible when the Seattle Police Department left that space. What transpired after that was organic. Gardens grew, medical, food, and security aid was provided, allowing us, the Black Collective, to meet each other, organize, so that we could grow in this movement. We reject the false narrative that protesting police brutality caused the crime that has always been prevalent at and around Cal Anderson Park. Homelessness, substance abuse, and gun violence are long-standing issues in the area, across our city, and across this nation. Governing bodies have continued to fail at resolving these issues despite clear direction from Black, Indigenous, POC community leaders who are of the communities who are impacted the most. I want to say that again. That governing bodies have continued to fail at resolving these issues despite clear direction from Black and Indigenous POC leaders who represent the communities that are impacted the most. It would appear these institutions are more focused on dismantling this movement and getting back to business as usual. I've experienced firsthand their attempts to dismantle, distract, undermine, and threaten CHOP every step of the way. They've mischaracterized organizers and spun our truth in the media to justify excessive force used by the Seattle Police Department. They've used established figures in our community, in the Black community, to insult and undermine the Black Collective Voice. The Black Collective Voice that is growing out of CHOP has grown out of CHOP. We know that these attempts to remove legitimacy from our movement are historical tactics used to destroy the movement for Black liberation. Let it be clear, we will not be bought off. We will not attend meetings where the goal is to buy us off. We are here to dismantle systemic racism. Our shared experience of police brutality and media misrepresentation, instead of generating fear, brought us closer together as a skilled, empowered, and capable community. The truth is, even if they force activists out of CHOP, it will not stop us or this movement. Furthermore, we now stand prepared to mobilize, utilizing our wide variety of skill sets. We have organized to take action through education and collaboration in public areas everywhere. In the words of Seattle's own Bruce Lee, Water can flow or it can crash. The Black collective voices choose to flow between spaces connected and refined. Our Black collective voice was born from a long tradition of protest and self-determination on Capitol Hill, and now we are ready for the world. Black collective voice believes that Black lives matter. We know that as Black people continue to acknowledge and step into their greatness, despite all odds, this world will be a better place. This is prophecy. The time is now. We represent the fight for equality and human rights, including those of Indigenous peoples, immigrants, LGBTQ+ communities, and the differently abled. We want all demands of the people to be met. Defund the Seattle Police Department by 50% at least. Use those dollars to fund community restorative justice, housing and healthcare, and release all jailed protesters. Until these demands are met, we will continue to organize and strategize the people. And even after those demands are met, we will stay strategizing as a people. We will continue to exercise our First Amendment right, and we will not be divided. Protesting is a very personal choice, and we recognize that. If the people of Seattle choose to hold space at CHOP, Black Collective Voice will be there to educate and empower everyone. All power to the people.